Hello, everyone. I would like to comment on what happened on Hockey Night in Canada. Don Cherry basically made a comment regarding how the Maple Leafs drafted, and he made some comments about William Nylander. Anyways, I just want to start this video by asking you this question: what do you think about Don Cherry? Okay. Here's what I think about Don Cherry. I've been watching CBC Hockey Night in Canada for some years now. And I noticed that when Don Cherry talks about hockey, he does a great job. Like, he knows the sport. He knows how to give good advice about the right things to do, the wrong things to do. He knows hockey. What I don't like about Don Cherry is how he describes any players that are not from Ontario, Canada. Uh, I just have a look at how in the past he has described like some American players, some players from Quebec, and especially the players from Europe. And I find it disappointing to read and also to watch during that segment of Hockey Night in Canada when Don Cherry criticized Shanahan and his team for drafting Nylander and also for this whole year's draft, like the Leafs didn't draft any Canadians, and Cherry would say that is the reason why the Leafs are not winning any Stanley Cups. And things that I do not agree. Whoops! Here there's a window that shouldn't open. Here, um, basically, the Leafs should have drafted Canadian players like the LA Kings do so well. The reason the Kings would have won two Stanley Cup in 3 years is because they drafted Canadian players. But the impact players in LA, like Jonathan Quick, he's American. You got guys like Voynov, Gaborik. You got what's his name, Enze Kopitar. The key players in LA, they're all foreigners. They're not Canadians. So this comment about Don Cherry, you should know most of their rosters are made of Canadians because there are more Canadian players than there are players anywhere else in the world. So it's normal that a team like LA's got a good majority of Canadian players. But who are your impact players? That is the question. And here, as I said, Jonathan Quick, he's American. You cannot win Stanley Cup without Quick. Gaborik, Voynov, and the other one, Kopitar. These are the big three up front. And these guys, they're not Canadians. I'm sorry, they're Europeans. One more thing. Cherry said William Nylander, he's European, shouldn't be drafted. We don't need a small guy playing center. We need big guys. And he wanted the Maple Leafs to draft this guy, Nick Ritchie. Ritchie is a guy that is 6'3", 230 pounds. He's got 100 penalty minutes. And for Cherry, what's important is for the Leafs is to have a big guy that can score goals. But in my opinion, we have already got players like that in the Leafs organization. What you need is players that have skills, that have talent. And I don't think Cherry would criticize the Leafs if they would have drafted someone like, I don't know, let's say Kadri or even a guy like Sidney Crosby. These two guys, they don't play a physical game. They stay on the ice. They don't spend time in the penalty box. And same thing here with William Nylander. He's not someone who's going to spend time in the penalty box. He's going to spend his time on the ice. And this kid has skills. So why would you criticize that? We don't need tough goons. In fact, Fraser McLaren and Colton Orr didn't make the team this year, at least at the start of the year. So why would you criticize that? That doesn't make sense to me. And especially in nowadays NHL, the game is so much faster. You need players that can follow the puck. You don't necessarily need to have the Legion of Doom like in the 1990s where the play was more physical and there was hooking and holding and all those stuff. So just to say, what's wrong? Sorry, the cat. Just to say, like, you can watch this website and read about it. Read the comments as well. You can go to this website. I will give you the links in the description, but you can have a look at what Don Cherry said exactly. But I have to say, Don Cherry says we're not drafting Canadians. That's why the Leafs are not doing so well. I'm looking at just their roster right now. Here, 1 Canadian, 2 Canadians, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 forwards. We need 12 forwards per game. We've got 10 already. They're all Canadians. Defensemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Canadians. If you include Jake Gardiner, you get 6 North American defensemen. And in the goalies, we've got 2 Canadians. Let's have a look at the players in the system. Again, we've got plenty of Canadians here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've got 13 forwards that are Canadians. Defense, here we have a problem. 1, 2, only 2 Canadians on defense. This is one area the Leafs might consider focusing on. And in the goalies, we've got a variety here. Bibo the Canadian, we've got Gibson the European, and Sparks the American. So here there's a little bit of diversity going on here. But in general, especially in offense, the Leafs got a team of Canadians. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to have the right picks. And one more thing, Don Cherry said the only good guy we drafted was Wendell Clark. The next year, they drafted Vincent Damphousse. And this guy became the captain of the Montreal Canadiens. He won a Stanley Cup there, and he had a few seasons with 100 points per season. 87, Luke Richardson. He happened to be a decent defenseman. Ty Domi in 1988. You wanted a big guy, you've got one there. Anyway, Scott Thornton, not a big guy actually. Derek Borowski, no. Felix Potvin, he was a good player in the half part of the 1990s. And he was there when the Leafs made it to the Western Conference Final. Yannick Perreault, he was a decent guy. Let's see. Eric Fichu, no. Nikolai Antropov, he did play a role for the Toronto Maple Leafs, drafted in 1998. This one is not a Canadian. Here, Brad Boyce, Canadian. Carl Kolayakovo, Canadian. Justin Pogge in 2004, Canadian. And then you get 2005, you get Phil Orishkovic. This guy didn't do anything actually, but you've got Tuukka Rask in the first round, and you gave him to Boston. What else? Nikolai Kulemin, he was somewhat of a decent player, 2006 drafted. James Reimer, Canadian, 2006. What's wrong, yeah? Later on, we've got Del Mitchell in 2007, Matt Fratton, 2007. What else? Christopher DiDomenico, whatever. Canadian again. 2008, impact player Luke Shen. He was traded, actually, to the Philadelphia Flyers. What else? Joel Champagne, he didn't do anything. Grant Rollizer, I don't know him. Andrew McWilliams, same thing. 2009, you've got an Ontarian here, Nazem Kadri, and he's part of the Leafs roster. So, something to be proud of right here. Jesse Blacker, I don't know what he's gonna be. What's that? Jamie Devane, winger. What else? Brad Ross in 2010. Greg McKaig, 2010 as well. Sam Carrick here. Josh Nichols. Tyler Biggs. No, he's American, sorry. Josh Lavo in 2011. David Brawl. Dennis Robertson. What's wrong? Here, 2012, you've got a defenseman, Morgan Riley, Canadian. That's a good draft. And there's Ryan Rupert. Frédéric Gauthier, excellent. 2013, big center. And then 2014, you get William Nylander, a small center. So what do you think about this? You guys, when you watch the Leafs and you listen to Don Cherry, do you agree with Cherry? Have you made any significant draft picks? From what I've seen here, not so much, but you do have your share of Canadians, and you have some players that can crack the roster. For example, Morgan Riley, he's fighting for a position, for a full-time position. Nazem Kadri, he has made his way now. He's part of the full-time roster. And you want a big forward. You've got from last year. Where is it? Frederick Gauthier. This guy. Let's click on him. If I'm not mistaken, is 6'4". You've got a center that is 6'4". You know which big center you've got that is not Canadian and had the biggest impact in the last 20 years? Matt Sundin. Alright. So anyways, you've got your share of Canadians in your roster, and drafting Europeans and Americans is a good idea as long as you've got the right pick. And that's what's important. It's not about where you're from, it's about whether or not your player can make it to the NHL. So actually, I do not agree with whatever Don Cherry has to say. Whenever he talks about hockey, I agree with him. But whenever he talks about where the players come from, that's where I not only I disagree with him, but I think what he says is actually inappropriate. And just one more thing before we stop this video. This is Hockey Night in Canada. This is CBC. This is Canada's channel. And I know how Canadians were proud of saying we are a multicultural country, meaning there are many immigrants coming to Canada. We welcome them, we accept them, and we want them to show their true colors and basically show how Canada is strong by having so many people with different skills from everywhere in the world. So why would you have Don Cherry staying there for so many years and always criticizing people from not being the standard Ontarian Canadian? So I will leave you guys there. Tell me what you think, and let's just share some comments, some thoughts. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me what you actually think about it, and let's talk about this another time. Alright, ciao.